What is going on, everybody? This is episode 799. We're almost at 800. 799 of the First and Frame Rate Show. I am VF Baller. Over here, we talk about Georgia Southern and Atlanta Falcons football. And this past weekend, Georgia Southern, almost pulled it off. Game got away from them late, but they're going to play Nevada. That's going to be cool to see, and we're going to talk about that later on in the week. But let's start this week off now with talking about the Atlanta Falcons. The Atlanta Falcons about to start a new era. They're about to get everything in place to start anew with a new coach, new quarterback, basically a new defense. The offense is pretty much kind of like the same, couple more weapons, whatever the case may be. But everything is overall is turned upside down, and it's going to be a phenomenal season for the Atlanta Falcons if everything plays intact, plays in order the way we think it's going to be, and everything be intact. So we're going to talk about this new era. They're going to play the Pittsburgh Steelers on Sunday. I will be at the game, and it's going to be a phenomenal experience. So if this is your first time here, welcome. I could be found on YouTube and Rumble. I'm also on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. You also catch the episodes on YouTube Podcasts as well. I do an episode pretty much at the end of the weekend, starting on Monday. But since this is a holiday with Labor Day, I decided to put the podcast episode out late Monday, early Tuesday. So hopefully you guys will check it out. Let's get straight into this. There's nothing around this to beat around. Everything straightforward. The Atlanta Falcons, Kirk Cousins, you got Bijan Robinson, you got Kyle Pitts, you got Tyler Algier, you got Drake London, the offensive line, and you got that ready to go. We finally got a quarterback that could probably throw the ball around like we need to. You also got a backup quarterback, Michael Penix, if needed. On the defensive side, what can you say? Grady Jarrett returns. Once Grady Jarrett returns, you also have Matthew Judon's going to be there, the rookie that I think is going to actually make a big difference on this defensive line. Ruka Rororo, I think he's going to be really good. Then you got the linebackers. Todd Anderson is coming back from an injury. All the other guys that's going to be there as well. The rookie J.D. Beltran from Notre Dame. And what can you say about the secondary at the end of the day? I mean, even though I didn't even talk about Caden Ellis, because look, Caden Ellis is there as well on the linebacker side. When you look at what's going on with the secondary, A.J. Terrell just signed a 4-year extension. We got Jesse Bates and we got Justin Simmons. I think Hughes is going to be CB number 2, or we may also have Clark Phillips over there. But nevertheless, this is a complete team. And when you have a coach like Raheem Morris, who prides in having a stable a stable team, and a team that's ready to go, and a team that can compete, from what he's learned with the LA Rams by winning the Super Bowl as a defensive coordinator, it seems like what him and Terry Fontenot has done, it turned this team all the way around. And what we had last year looked like we could have made some noise, but pretty much everything about that team has been changed, not necessarily personnel-wise, but the culture has changed. You look at the practices. You saw what happened with the preseason games. Even though we didn't win any of the preseason games, you saw how that team played. We played different. They didn't look as timid. Even though there was a lot of guys that were backups and third strings, those guys played like they wanted to be there. Not saying it wasn't like that last year, but you can easily tell that there's something different with that team. Now, what I will say, when they're going up against the Pittsburgh Steelers, listen, I think the Pittsburgh Steelers got a lot going on that doesn't bode well for them. First and foremost, they have our former head coach, which is Arthur Smith. Arthur Smith is now offensive coordinator for the Steelers, and their offense has not looked good so far this preseason. And I understand what you're going to say. Hey, it's preseason. Nobody's really going to look good. But with what they had, what they had on the field and the way they ran some of these plays, it just did not look good. It just didn't. And I feel like at the end of the day, not just for them playing against us, on Sunday, I just think pretty much throughout the entire season is not going to bode well for the Steelers. I don't have nothing against Arthur Smith. I just think he overthinks the way he run plays, and he also outsmarts himself when running plays. And now he does have a better quarterback. He probably has the best quarterback he actually had in his career when, you had Tannehill, you had Desmond Ritter. Well, I will say he did have Matt Ryan that 1 year, so that all bets are off on that. But you have Russell Wilson, and so I think he should make something happen. But just the way their schematics set up, I don't think it works well against this Atlanta Falcons defense. This defense is very talented. We have a lot of things going on for ourselves on paper, and if we're able to make this work on the field, we're going to be a problem for a lot of teams, not just the Pittsburgh Steelers. A lot of people saying that this team could go anywhere between 9-8 and even up to 12-5, which I think, to be honest, the way this team is set up, we should probably will go 11-6. I see that long. I mean, even if Kirk Cousins go down, to have Michael Penix right there behind him is very, very fortunate, because we saw what it was like when Desmond Ritter was on the team and then he went down until Heineke came in. And with all that talent we have on this team, you just did not have anybody who could distribute the ball properly to get those players, the numbers or the stats or the touchdowns or the W's that we needed. And this is one reason why I love the Kirk Cousins pickup, because you have a veteran, similar to what Matt Ryan was able to do. And you have all of these weapons, and plus you have help on defense. And if something was to happen, you have a formidable backup that can, probably, just come in right away and play. A lot of people did say that, Michael Penix was the best NFL-ready quarterback in the draft. And what you saw, the little bit that we did see of him on the that we did see him in the preseason, he looked pretty good. And then on top of that, you have other rookies that are out there that's probably going to make a difference. You look at somebody like Casey Washington. Listen, Casey Washington looked really good in the preseason as wide receiver number 1. If you put him in the mix with the rest of those receivers like Drake London, Darnell Mooney, Kyle Pitts, you put him in the mix with everybody else, he's going to be an asset to this team, because you can't cover everybody. This is just like what I said with the Georgia Southern game, Boise State. We played against those guys, and look, I knew exactly how this game was going to play out. And that just goes for anybody that plays against Georgia Southern. You're not going to be able to cover everybody. They got like 4 or 5 different receivers. And same thing with Atlanta. You got 4 or 5 different receivers in a scheme that everybody pretty much knows how to run that scheme with the offensive coordinator of Zach Robinson. So I really believe with this new era starting for the Falcons, they're going to be a problem for a lot of teams. A lot of people don't really want to believe in what they have going on now in Atlanta, and I get it. But you have all of these weapons, 2 good running backs, 2 good receivers, a very good tight end, a great offensive line, and then you come back with a good defensive set with all the personnel that is here, with the Matthew Judons, the Grady Jarrett's, the Anyamadas, Caden Ellis, Troy Anderson, J.D. Bertrand, Lorenzo Carter, the secondary, Justin Simmons, Jesse Bates, AJ Terrell. You got something here. Now, I'm not going to sit here and say that they're going to win the Super Bowl or anything like that. I mean, I'm not saying that's unrealistic, but it's just too far to look in the trees, trying to find the other side of the forest. You can't see that far right now, but with that being said, this team has a lot of potential to make some things happen. And if we're able to take it game by game, even through the wins and the losses, because you're not going to win every game, and you find a way to get better every week, you find a way to exploit or overcome the defenses that the offense is going to face. If the defense can find ways to stop the offenses that they face, and which it sounds cliche, or it just sounds simple because you're talking about it, you finally have a team that can actually do it. You have the talent on the team that can actually do it. So I really feel that this team can easily, win, more than 7 games. This team could, is pretty much should be the favorite to win this division. And when you got people in the NFC, or you got teams in the NFC like San Francisco and the Eagles, and who else is in the NFC that's actually going to be pretty good? The Packers are going to be pretty good as well. When you got these other teams that are out there that can make some noise, all it takes for you to get past 1, maybe 2 of those teams, and then you're talking about a different ball game as far as the NFC title in your hands, and you're probably going to be playing in the Super Bowl. So it's going to be a long, tough road, but this new era starts for Atlanta, not just for this season as well. This for seasons to come, where you have a young quarterback that's in behind the veteran. You got a coach that looks like going to be here for a long time, and you have a nucleus that you could build off of with a bunch of young guys, and you have a culture that other people would want to come in and play for. This is why you got a Matthew Judon. This is why you got a Justin Simmons. This is why you got Kirk Cousins. This is why you got Darnell Mooney. You got people that want to come in here and want to play under this situation, and that's all that you can ask for a fan at this moment. Once week 1 comes about, you kind of see how things going, and then week 2 comes around, you'll see how that's going. But by week 3, you pretty much know what type of team you have, and I think that's the time we'll be playing the Chiefs at home. That's going to be a statement, whatever. Is it the Chiefs or the Eagles? I can't remember. One of those teams. It's going to be a statement need to be made in one of those games sooner rather than later. So we'll see how it goes. Let me know what you guys think. If you like this commentary, the like button, share this podcast, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Episode 799. This is a new era for the Falcons. What do you guys think? You think this team is going to fall on its face? Do you think this team could win, double-digit games this year? I'm still leaning towards the double digits. I'm thinking anywhere between 10 and 11. And, I think they can do that. I think that's a fair assessment. You get 10 wins, get 11 wins, find a way to get in the playoffs, and anything goes. Hopefully you get the host of a playoff game. And if you can host a playoff game, anything's possible at that point, for real. So let me know what you guys think. I am on YouTube, Rumble, Spotify, Apple Podcasts. Also follow me at VF Baller. Also, you can check this podcast out on YouTube Podcast, and I'll see you guys on the next one. I'll be doing videos throughout the week, talking about other things between Georgia Southern and Atlanta Falcons football. So I'll see you guys on the next one. All right, y'all. Y'all take it easy, and y'all be blessed. Peace.